Welcome back to Let the Boys Watch, an entertainment podcast brought to you by Going Great Productions. And on this week's episode, it was Christopher Nolan week, and the fans voted for Interstellar. So today we're talking about the 2014 sci-fi drama Interstellar, written by Jonathan and Christopher Nolan, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain, Mackenzie Foy, Jonathan Lithgow, Timothy Chalamet, and Matt Damon with a special guest appearance. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Robbie, and alongside me is the man who sabotaged my Thanksgiving weekend.
How you doing, Slick?
The cuz Benny, how we feeling?
Absolutely terrible for many reasons, personal reasons and physical. I feel so bad. I was crying the whole time I was listening to Going Gray this week.
Please,
I
you look
can't
like a
believe I put
million
you through
bucks.
all that.
You look like $1 million. And alongside us, a very, very special guest, friend of the program, and a friend of ours, Gene. Gene, how you doing?
Doing good. Doing better now than with you guys.
This is a
Big fan of the
fantastic.
show.
Oh, please, a fantastic day for us. We appreciate the constant support from you, and you know, we love you. So,
Send it right back at you.
and alongside us, one of our best friends and co-host, Ryan. Ryan, how you doing?
Doing well. I was not in and around certain sick people this weekend, so I feel pretty good.
Tell me about
Um,
it, please.
oh my God. So yeah, like Robbie said, this is Let the Boys Watch. We typically watch movies that either one or all of us have not seen. And I believe this week we have Robbie as the person who has not seen Interstellar. Is that correct?
Yeah, I didn't see any of the choices we put up this week.
That's right. That's right. And Benny saw it once, I think, a while
Yep.
ago on an airplane. Is
Yep.
that correct?
Yep.
And
Probably the worst way you could watch it.
yeah, probably. And I saw it. I only saw it once, probably around when it came out. So I remembered what happened, but it was kind of like watching a new movie. Gene, I know you said in your message to us, asking if you could come on and join us, that it's one of your favorites. So I assume you've seen it a number of times.
Yeah, number it's in the hundreds.
Wow,
I
that
also show
many.
it at school, so I get to see it multiple times a year. That's how
Oh, there you go.
I'm shocked, Robbie. You've never seen it. I'm shocked that you guys it's only one, maybe, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm very curious. There's been some comments in the group text, so I'm very curious to see what everyone thought. So yeah, before we get into it, please send us an email. And actually, we have two messages today that we're going to read, which I'm very excited for. But send us an email, ltbwpodcast@gmail.com. We love, hearing your feedback. Tell us where we messed up. Give us suggestions for movies that we need to watch. I think next week we're set. And then we have maybe some holiday movies. We'll see. But yeah, let us know. Or tell us what you thought of the movie that we watched. We love it. And follow us on Instagram, Let the Boys Watch Pod, where Sick Benny puts all the cool memes. And we vote every Friday. We vote on the movie that we're going to watch. So check us out there. And while I'm plugging links, check out Gene's link, thesaltandseed.com, I believe, right? There you go. Check out his art and design. It's awesome. So before we get into it, I want to say, Robbie, well, should we read emails first or get into it a little bit? Let's
Read
do it.
emails.
Let's do emails. I'm sorry. I'm fucking Gene's here. I'm fucking up. I'm nervous. Please. Robbie, do you want to read Kenny's or should I read Aya's first?
Yeah, read eyes. That's a little shorter.
Yeah, it's quick. So the first lady, our good friend Aya, I think Benny's best friend, I think.
Definitely.
Sent us a quick note, and she just wanted to give us her Nolan rankings. She has number one for Oppenheimer, which is That's awesome. I can't wait to see it. Rob, we should do a movie night once Benny gets better.
Just leave the red wine out of it.
That's right. Wow, too soon. I saw Robbie's face. Number 2, Dunkirk. Nice. 3, Inception. 4, Dark Knight. 5, Interstellar. We're talking about that today. 6, Tenet. 7, Memento. 8, The Prestige. 9, Dark Knight Rises. 10, Batman Begins. And she says, I have not seen Following or Insomnia yet. Any glaring issues with the list, anybody? I think it's a pretty solid list.
I think it's a solid list. You guys know how much I gushed over Oppenheimer after we saw it. There's not a lot of these movies that I've seen, so it's hard for me to knock the rankings, but it seems like a solid list to me.
Yeah. I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet, but of the rest of them, I'd shuffle some things around. I'd probably put like maybe Inception, Dark Knight, Interstellar, like up 1 or 2. I do love Memento and The Prestige, so I'd probably shuffle it around a bit, but overall, pretty good list. Gene, would you say that Interstellar is number 1 for you, definitely, or?
Yeah, I'd say 1A, 1B with Inception for me.
Fair.
Yeah. I think Dunkirk was a little high on that list for me.
Agree.
Good film, but I think there's a couple of other war films that were better than that. So
Agree. Robbie, any specific issues?
Well, I got issues with Aya, but not about
Is it because she coordinated an attack on you over this
yeah,
weekend?
she coordinated like a Pearl Harbor type stealth attack on me. But we won't get into that. I was taken by surprise, but as of right now, I'm doing all right. But I haven't seen Oppenheimer, Dunkirk, Tenet, but I would probably go Dark Knight. Probably 1 for me, Inception 2, Memento 3. And I obviously haven't seen all of them, but I was a little bummed that The Prestige didn't win, but I'll watch it on my own time.
Yeah, maybe
I'm
we'll
sure
have
it'll come back
another.
for us at some point, and we'll do it.
She also says, I can talk about Nolan movies for days, but I just need to shout out quickly Nolan for using Hans Zimmer and Ludwig Göransson for his music. Yeah, the music was awesome. I'm sure we'll talk about that. It's always perfect. Also, why does Matt Damon keep needing to be rescued? Damsel in distress type shit. I don't know.
yeah, the
Well,
question came out right after this, right? Within like a year or so.
yeah, something like that, or like within the same year, maybe even. I don't know. He didn't grow any potatoes in this movie, I don't think.
No.
Well, as always, thank you, Aya. I hope you're feeling okay. But we much appreciate, sending us a quick note before the episode. And next time we do a Nolan episode, you gotta come on.
Would love
Robbie,
to
you
have
want
around for that.
Yeah. Robbie, you want to do?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
we were talking about it on Saturday. I don't know if I told you about this, but I got sabotaged by Benny and Aya. But we put Benny put Nolan Week Part 2, but I don't even think we did a Part 1. So we gotta go Nolan Week Part 1 next time.
I think that was the first sign that I wasn't feeling too well.
Maybe
You
that's
guys threw me
on
for a loop, but I saw that part 2. I'm like, did I miss part 1? I was like, oh.
We're
We
gonna
all missed part
Tarantino
1.
it. Yeah, we're gonna Tarantino it and do part 1 at a later date.
Yep.
All right, so I guess I'll get into Kenny's email.
Yeah, sure.
Our next email, our first and only email, comes from a friend of the pod, Kenny. He titled this email, "Holy shit, it's a long one. Make Benny read it." Well, Benny's a little bit under the weather, so he's going to hold off on this email, so I'll read it for him. Dear the boys, I haven't written in since we talked about Reservoir Dogs a couple months ago, but I've been listening, lurking, and enjoying every episode. I had some post-it notes on some back episodes and thought, fuck it, bullet pointed, light and round catch-up email. Feel free to screen and skip any of them. Rudy, I'm glad you guys rewatched this one so I didn't have to. I remember loving it as a kid, but in retrospect, it feels like a sappy 90s Oscar bait. Sure. Gene, what's your take on Rudy?
On Rudy the film.
Yeah.
Great film. Is what, like rankings or where in the hierarchy?
Just in general. Do you like it? Hate it?
Yeah, I like it. Like it.
Yeah,
Really, really
we just had
like it. Don't love it. No, it's not like that upper echelon for me, but like it
I
a
think
little.
we kind of just hated Rudy's entire family. That's why we had a little we didn't like the movie. Um the next movie, There Will Be Blood. This is a top 10 film of all time for me. I love how you guys really went into the opening sequences. It's one of the all-time best. Not just because of how well P.T. Anderson sustains dramatic tension without dialogue, but also due to how well he set up the whole film. You know everything there is to know about Daniel Plainview in the first 14 minutes of the film and could probably predict his actions in every scene based on what you see in that early silver prospecting sequence. This is a pitch perfect movie. It hits every note and hits them all so well, just like Johnny Greenwood's minimalist string and percussion score. Yeah, amazing movie and a fantastic score as well. Next movie, The Royal Tenenbaums. This is the beginning of peak West for me, ending with Darjeeling Limited. He's so decisive, it's not even worth debating with people that love his films. I don't remember which one of you said it, but someone said it felt like there was something missing. When I get that feeling, it's usually the story. If the acting is good and the dialogue is good, it's usually the story that isn't leaving you fulfilled. Yeah, I really enjoyed the Royal Tenenbaums. Gina, you saw the Tenenbaums, did you or no?
Yeah, yeah, I'm a big fan of Royal Tenenbaums. Did you guys have low scores on that? I'm trying to remember.
I think just
Pretty
Benny
high.
did.
Just Benny.
Yeah, I was the one that said it felt like it was missing a little something,
Okay.
but I enjoyed it. I'm not hating on it by any means.
Yeah, it was more of like I think more of that original concept film for him, and then he had some stuff that kind of fed off of that after that. But I don't know. I enjoyed it in the time of where I was in my life at that time.
Yeah. I think anyone that watched it when it came out and you were like late teens, early 20s, it was like the perfect film for that, if you were a cool kid. Like I'm sure we were all cool kids.
Kenny goes on to say Benny made a comment direct to me about film school in this episode. It's a scam and it's overrated. All they teach you is underexpose, don't overexpose, the rule of thirds, and the 180 rule. Google those three things and you're halfway there. The other half is a knowledge gain from all the great conversation you guys have just from watching all these classic films. The next film, The Big Lebowski. All right, here's where the wheels come off. On October 12th, 2023, Robbie became the first person in history of ever to utter the words, and I quote, "my disdain for Jeff Bridges," end quote. And you all just let it slide. Why, Robbie? What did the coolest, most likable, and equally talented actor, a fucking American treasure, do to you? Well, his face annoys me, and I just don't like him. I don't know. It's just something about him that I really don't like. I don't know what it is. Maybe I can come around, in the near future. But as of right now, yeah, Jeff Bridges isn't in my top 10 list of favorite actors. So I'm sorry, Kenny. I still love you though. I need a lot of answers on this one, and hopefully I gave you a few. Agree on the Tara Reid casting. Someone owes someone a Hollywood casting favor. Also a top 10 film of all time for me. Shaun of the Dead. Someone mentioned rating prestige films higher than comedies. Fuck that. This one's always on my all-time top 10 list, and only the second comedy next to The Jerk. It's a perfect
This guy
film.
hates cans.
It's the perfect film, hilarious, charming, scary, and sad. If you don't cry a little when Sean's mom dies, you're dead inside. Spoiler alert: Sean's mom dies in the movie. If they had a bigger budget, I think a lot of the personality of it would have been lost. It definitely wouldn't have starred Peg and Frost. I highly recommend Spaced. Snatch. Fuck, is this a cool movie? And really enjoyed the rewatch. That's all I got. Yeah, Snatch, fantastic, and I love it. Few Good Men, pass. More 90s award season bait.
Love it.
Yeah. The Killer. Man, what a disappointment. Great graphic novel. Too many things to not add up. A sociopath that loves the Smiths, has a significant other, and makes references to Popeye the Sailor Man. Acting was good, but the script felt lackluster. Yeah, I think we all agreed that the script really wasn't, um, that great. And last, Interstellar. Can't wait to see what you guys say about this one. Did you know Benny watched it from the first time on a plane? Benny, is that true?
That is true.
Unbelievable. You should kick him off the pod for the crime against cinema. Uh, and Kenny finishes it. Film recommendation: Reptile on Netflix. I have to rewatch it. Might have had too many edibles prior, but I was blown away with the tone of the film, and I think it might have been Benicio del Toro's best performance next to Sicario. That's all I got, Kenny. Well, Kenny, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hopefully, you still listen after my Jeff Bridges take, but I'm sticking to it.
I can't
Crimes
believe
against
that.
cinema.
Yeah, thanks, Kenny. Much appreciated. Looking forward to having you on again sometime soon, maybe. So Interstellar. Definitely in my mind, one of the better space movies. I was gonna say sci-fi, but there's so many sci-fi movies. But definitely up there for me as space films, for a number of reasons. But the one person who hasn't seen it up until this week, Robbie, did you know anything about it before you watched it? Did you have any thoughts going into it? What'd you think?
No, I didn't know anything about it really. I thought Interstellar was a movie about Dwight D. Eisenhower's interstate highway program. But yeah, I was surprised when I saw it was about space. This is probably one of the only movies that I've never read up on, to get a spoiler about. So I didn't really know what was going on. The only thing that kind of threw me for a loop when I was looking at the IMDb, seeing who the actors and like old Murph and young Murph, and I'm like, all right, well, something's got to be going on as far as like time travel or space travel or something like that, dealing with space. So that's the only thing that kind of tripped me up a little bit. But like I said, I love Christopher Nolan, so I really didn't have any reservations or expectations as to what this movie was. 'Cause I really didn't know what it was about, so I was kind of excited and surprised about that.
Nice. All right. So let's get into some overall impressions then. Gene is our super special guest. Do you want to go first? Like basically just kind of your overall feelings of the movie, like you love it, you hate it, whatever. And then after that, we'll do our scores, and then we'll do specific scenes and characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, just definitely overall really enjoyed the film. I would say even looking at the advertising for it before the film came out, I was a little like Interstellar. Okay. Another space film. And then I saw Matthew McConaughey and I was kind of like, at that point. This is you're looking at that era. This is 2013 when they were kind of promoting it. And he wasn't really moving the needle for me as lead actor. And I think he proved us wrong in this role. Um, I it's a Christopher Nolan thing, but his attention to detail in most of his films are spot on, and I think this is one of those films where, from the musical score to the story to just the cinematic, visuals, the sound, the lack of sound. I think it's a gem. I think it's a beautifully done film. It just really, it's a film I've seen in the theater and I've seen it, numerous times, at home. You need to have good sound audio watching this film because it's rare. I think the musical score is probably more important than any one character in the film. And to me, that says a lot. I can't say that about any other film. So yeah, I mean, overall, just a gem from Christopher Nolan on this one.
Love it. Agree. Benny?
Yeah, I mean, this is one, like it's funny that this is something that I saw on an airplane, but to Gene's point, watching it and appreciating it in like HD and with surround sound, it just brought a whole nother level of enjoyment to the movie. I enjoyed it on the plane. I just thought the story was that strong. And you got the point of all the beautiful shots, and like Gene said, I think the performance by McConaughey is just phenomenal. I think he's great in it. And I was probably in the same headspace where I was like, whatever, Matthew McConaughey, I could take him or leave him. But this and then Wolf of Wall Street, I mean, just shot him into like a whole other stratosphere, no pun intended. I love this movie. I think it's great. I was so excited to watch it again. Usually I'll vote for the movie that we haven't seen, but I was like all about watching this one again. There's so many little details, like Gene said, and we'll get into them as the podcast goes on. And that's what I love about it. I love that the science is good, and it even gets into, even going into a black hole, quote unquote, is not gonna, you're never gonna see the other side of it. But they even use the theories of what people thought you would. So I just love, like Gene said, the attention to detail. The science was good. The sound is amazing. The performances are great. Just a fantastic movie for me.
Great. Robbie, you want to go?
So yeah, I wasn't expecting to be, well, I guess this movie to have so much emotion. It was a very emotional movie. The score was amazing, absolutely amazing. I loved everything about it. It brought so much tension to some scenes and so much emotions to various scenes that I just loved everything about the score. I'm glad I got a new TV because the 4K was booming in here and I loved it. The only thing I need a new sound bar. But I mean, just like everybody was saying, the visuals were stunning. Cinematography was amazing. The performances, so many great actors and actresses in this movie. Even young Murph was great. And Jonathan Lithgow, that was awesome to see him on the screen. And Michael Caine, of course. I had no idea that Casey Affleck was in this movie, so it was nice to see him pop up on the screen. And I think Jessica Chastain is amazing. So yeah, I mean, 2.5 hours plus is kind of long for me. It didn't feel that long, but it did drag a little bit. I did enjoy the movie. I could have done maybe with like half an hour less. And sometimes I just hate when movies make me feel stupid. Like some of the stuff that they were talking about, I kind of got lost in. But I guess that's to be expected, but maybe not. But for me, it was like, damn it. I kind of wanted to understand it better, but as it went along, I kind of got what's going on. But yeah, there were just some scenes that with the visuals, I mean, we'll get into like the wave scene and things like that. That just blew me away. Like you guys said, the attention to detail was spot on. And McConaughey was amazing, man. I mean, like you said, yeah, you get McConaughey from like Dazed and Confused. You don't know if he has that type of range. You saw that in True Detective and Wolf of Wall Street, obviously in a little small part. But here he was just all the emotions that he portrayed in this movie was amazing. I thought he was phenomenal in this movie. I thought it was an A+ performance by him.
Great. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. Again, cinematography was fantastic. The music, the score was fantastic. But the thing that I love the most about this movie is not normally I would love the emotions, the human condition of a movie or stuff like that, the relationships between Matthew McConaughey and Murph. Not Matthew McConaughey and his son, because he clearly doesn't give a fuck about his son. But the thing I loved about this movie the most was the science and obviously there's things that are theoretical. There's things that are embellished for cinema, of course, that, probably either don't exist or we don't really know, but probably don't exist. But give me some like complicated science and I'm fucking all in. Like fourth dimension, yeah, give me that shit. Gravity, give it to me. Tesseracts, love it. So that was what really, beyond some of the other pieces, what really makes me love this movie. I do agree with Robbie though. I wish it was a little shorter, but I was trying to think, and we'll talk about this later, but like there's not much that you can really cut because like everything is important to the story. So like You'd have to maybe make like little cuts here and there to just like tighten it up a little bit, but there's no like major plot points that you could just be like, forget this and move on. So, but yeah, love it. Love the science. We'll talk about all that stuff, I'm sure, a little later. But let's get into some plum scores.
Before we do,
go
I
ahead.
wanted to jump on your guys' point of it being like you feeling like it was too long. And I was thinking the same thing going in. I was like, I really don't feel like sitting here like feeling like crap for a 2.5 hour movie. And I was intentionally looking for things that I would have cut out just so I could have something to talk about. But what I loved about this movie is when there was a chance to just jump, they just jumped. There was no like, oh,
Fucking
we're
around,
going, yeah, we're not fucking around. Like even when he's driving off the farm, it's right to them taking off. There's no in between of them like, well, let's get ready to get on the ship. It's like, no, he's leaving, he's taking off. And so that's what I loved about it, is that even when, you know, it was 2.5 hours, but it was well worth the time for me.
Agree. It definitely, like, there was agency with every scene. And even I watched it with my wife and she was like, that's it? They asked him to fly a rocket and he just fucking leaves? Like, what's going on? And I was just like, they gotta go. You gotta save humanity. But yeah, no, I agree. Like, that's what makes it hard. It's long, but it's long. Maybe the cinema or the movie itself is orbiting a black hole. So the time dilation is fucked up. That's why it's so long. Plum scores. Gene, as our super special guest, you get to either go first or last.
I will go last.
Nice. All right. Benny, Robbie, Ryan.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so super excited to watch this obviously again. I just thought that there was so much that I got out of it this time watching it with surround sound, so that helped. I forgot all like the poignancy, and maybe it just hits a little bit harder now with stuff like with the climate change, and even them being like, oh, the Apollo missions never happened, and like just like sweeping all that stuff under the rug. Like, I don't know, a lot of those things hit a little bit different, now. But yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I didn't comment on I's list because I probably would put this movie, as far as Nolan goes, maybe my 2 or my 3, with The Dark Knight, in between. I'd probably flip-flop and on that and then go in Inception number 4. So I'm going to go high on this one. I'm going to give it a 9.5. I just think it's a great movie. We've mentioned I love a crazy science plot. Everything about this movie I was just a big fan of, so 9.5.
Nice. Robbie, you want to go? You want me to go?
I can go. I'm not going to go as high as Benny. I did enjoy the movie. I did. It did feel long to me. I'm not heavy on the sci-fi. I don't think I've ever been a big sci-fi guy, but I just have to, praise again the attention to detail and everything that they did with this movie, and how I read up like how true it was to, I guess, the science aspect of it, or as close as it could come. I did enjoy that. Like I said, I did enjoy the emotions of the movies. I did enjoy the plot. Maybe give me some well, it probably would have been a 4-hour movie that gave me backstory of like, or show me some, some backstory of what, like, how this like disaster came, or this like crop disaster happened. I would love to see that, but I understand it would have been 6 hours. I'm not going to go pretty low, but I'll go 8.4 for this.
Love it. I'm gonna kind of split the difference here. I agree. Like, I really like it a lot. For the reasons I said, so the science of it. But even though there's nothing I can really point to that I would want to cut out, it felt like it dragged a little bit. So I'm gonna go 8.8. So very high score for me, but still not in the nines. Like, I was kind of looking at some of my other scores and I was like, all right, I'd rather watch this again over Interstellar. I'd rather, like, this movie I loved, but I don't need to watch it again for another 10 years. Like, I'm okay on watching it for a while, but 8.8. Gene.
Yeah, it's tough. I try to look at it from a global viewpoint a little bit, but I keep going back. I feel like when I say he, Christopher Nolan, like he's like tailoring this film for me. Um, and I know that's weird and a little geeky to say, but it's like, and to your point, like you may not watch it for 10 years. I feel like this movie gets better like fine wine. Like with every watching, it's one of those things where if I hear the soundtrack and I'm in a different room, like I feel like, the hairs on the back of my neck stand up a little bit. Like that's what it does for me. And maybe that's because I've seen it so many times and it's kind of, become ingrained in me. Kind of the fabric of the film a little bit. But I know Robbie had mentioned, he was just like, oh, I hate a film, that makes me feel dumb or whatnot. And he toes the line right there, right on the edge with a lot of his films with that. And I know he brought in Kip Thorne, the theoretical physicist,
Yep.
for, guiding this to be as scientifically accurate as possible while still giving him, like that parallel creative weaving as it goes along. I know he Nolan had said that Kip Thorne was like going like, no, you need to do this. You need to. He goes, the audience is not going to be able to digest this. So as much as we got, and still like kind of, trying to comprehend everything. He definitely dumbed it down for I think his general public, if that it could even be titled that for this film. But it's cool. I mean, I've even had different experiences watching it with my students over the years, and having my high level AP students comment and kind of give a little different perspective on the physics aspect of it and time dilation. And it's been pretty cool to see them kind of explain it, that high level thinking in a different way. I think of myself as a fairly intelligent person, but it's still that the whole time slippage, it's very hard, to just be like, what do you mean? Like, and relativity and all right, I'm on board. I understand it on some level, but then just, the fact that that is real is pretty wild. So yeah, definitely kind of geek out on the science as well. Ryan, it's there, and it digs its hooks in you. And all right, my score. I don't believe in absolute perfection, but this for me comes as close to it. I'm a 9.9 for this one. My first
Nice.
Wow,
plumbing.
nice.
Love it.
I
There
love
you
it.
go.
Yeah, when you said like you felt like he made this movie for you, like I felt that because I love all that stuff, and I have a very surface level understanding of like relativity and black holes and wormholes and stuff like that, and like this is just the perfect movie for me because it gives you like a surface level of that stuff, but also has fun with it. And that's what I loved about this movie so much is if you are familiar with any of these theories and the way gravity affects time and stuff like that, excuse me. It's just it's a fun movie.
Wild. Really quick science stuff. Isn't it wild that fucking Einstein came up with a lot of this shit and like people are still talking like it just blows my mind that many years ago he was like, yeah, relativity, and like people are still working out intricacies of these things that he talked about so long ago. I think that's insanity. I can't believe people's brains work like that. It's so crazy.
Well, that's what I love. I'll get lost on like Neil deGrasse Tyson on like his TikTok, and I just love that he makes that type of stuff fun, and like he's never going to get too into the weeds, but
Yeah.
I love when he talks about like Isaac Newton, and he just loves Isaac Newton, and he's like, I'm going to figure out, he didn't know obviously gravity, but I'm going to figure out all this stuff, and he says he invents calculus to be able to explain gravity,
Yeah.
and then he turns 26. So it's like you said, like the way people's minds
Heavy.
work in this space is just so insane, and I love it.
Love it. So crazy.
If you think
Brian,
about
what's more?
isn't that one of the big challenges, right? Is like taking this high level stuff and being like, all right, how do we package it for the general public?
Right.
With Oppenheimer, kind of like that same thing. It's like some high
Yeah.
level stuff, and they
It,
definitely do it in a beautiful way.
you know that there's executives that are talking to Nolan and they're like, listen, we love this film. Can you make it a little dumber? Because we don't think anyone's going to be able to understand it. And he's just like, no.
Or it's like, yeah, I'll give you the bookshelf scene.
Right. Yeah. That'll make sense to everybody.
Ryan, I was gonna say, what's more insane? Einstein's theory of relativity or him banging his cousin?
That's I did not know that. They're both pretty crazy. But to be fair to him, a lot of people did that back then. So whatever.
I know the 50s were a wild time. No, but I'm like even that, I'm always amazed by how smart these people are. It's insane. Like even where I work, there's like these people that win, like just are winning like fields medals and all these awards for how like in physics and all these different things. And I'm like, it's insane to even think about how smart these people are and the shit that they're doing. And I could never in my wildest dreams imagine what goes on in their head.
Crazy. And then here I am, I don't know, constantly spilling the milk when I put it in my coffee every morning. So like, I guess I'm just dumb.
Yeah, and I'm bashing the movie to say it should be 20 minutes shorter.
Me no understand.
Me stupid. Well, yeah, please.
All right. Do you guys want to do characters or scenes first?
Go scenes.
All right. Let's do favorite scenes. Gene, again, as our special guest, you get to go either first or last in favorite scenes.
All right, I'll go first this time.
Okay.
Hands down, favorite scene in not only the movie but probably in all of cinema for me is the right after they leave Miller's planet and they lose that 23 plus years. Right, and they go back and they see Romilly open, and he gets that 23 plus year update from all the videos from family. Just on another level. That scene eviscerated me the first time I saw it, and it still does to this day. I don't know if it was this is 2014, so my son was about 2 years of age, and being a father, I think definitely gave that scene more context to see your child grow up literally in front of your eyes and see all those key moments and sad, and just like just even talking about it, like it's just
I
it's
got
so
the chills. Yeah.
yeah, it's so heavy. So it's hands down, that's my favorite scene. And again, not good, like because it's just like I don't know, it just how it affects you is wild.
Great choice.
It was such like one of the most emotional scenes that I think I watched on film. It was so gut wrenching, and I loved it. It definitely I had the dust bust here because it was getting a little dusty in the room, so I had that going. So nothing, I was glad that the tears didn't start flowing. But somebody commented on our page that GIF, and I didn't know what it was from, but I knew it had to be something important, and watching that, I mean, McConaughey saying basically nothing, just his emotions, the range of emotions that he portrayed in that scene was amazing. Definitely one of my favorite scenes in this movie.
Interesting fact behind that, McConaughey, or I'm just trying to think of when I had heard this, is that he didn't want to see the video of what the kid said prior to his acting scene. So he said, nope, show it to me. Whatever happens, happens. Let's roll. Let's do this. So they did it, and then they went and did a couple more shoots of that scene, and they went with the first scene, and that's the one we get in the movie where just like it's like literally like raw emotion, So I thought that was pretty cool, knowing
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean that when Tom rolls up with his son, Jesse, I was just like, just punch me in the face. That was tough to watch. And I think, Gene, I think you're right. Like, being a father, like it hits different when you see that. Like, imagine not being able to see the birth of your grandson, or your family, your children growing up literally in a matter of a couple minutes because of these videos. Like wild. But yeah, agree. Anyone want to go next?
I can go.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah. I figured I wasn't gonna get that 23-year scene coming to me. So I'm gonna go with the docking scene, the one where when man blows up whatever spaceship he was on. I thought that was amazing. So much tension. The score was gripping. The organs in that score was awesome. I mean, of course, you knew that he was going to land and dock it, but just the lead up to it was so gripping that I thought it was one of the. I mean, it wasn't a huge 20-minute scene. It was like a 5-10 minute scene, but it was so intense, and the lead up to it had me on the edge of my seat, and coupled that with the score and everything like that, I just thought it was awesome. Definitely one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I'm just glad that him and Tars are working it out and they were able to dock the spaceship. I just love like even him just like McConaughey just like with gravity just pulling him and he's just like stuck there and trying to fucking dock it. I was like, this is so awesome. I loved every minute of it. And I mean, like Gene said, that score, propelled that scene for me. It was just everything about that score made that scene, like I said, tense and enjoyable and scary. All these various emotions I was having just based off the score throughout that scene. So yeah, the docking scene was one of my favorite scenes of the entire movie.
Yeah, especially since man blows the airlock and you're just like, oh shit, like what are they now? Like you're defeated, and like within seconds he's just like, nope, assess this, and you're like, what? So just
It's Matt Damon, just always fucking something up.
I don't know if we'll get into it later or not, but I want a reaction. Did you know Matt Damon was in it? Or did you see that, or did you get surprised that he showed up?
I had no
Me?
clue.
Yeah, I didn't know either when I first watched it. Robbie, what about this time for you?
I did because, like I said, I saw it.
You looked at the
I was
cast
so
list.
mad. Yeah,
Were
I
you
was so
then?
mad.
Were
You're
you
just
then? Were
waiting
you
for him
like,
to
where the
pop
fuck
up.
is it?
Yeah, I was waiting for him to pop up, and then when he was in the jacuzzi, and when they went there and he was in the jacuzzi, I knew he was gonna pop up.
Yeah. Benny, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the water planet scene just because of how tense it was. Sorry, buddy.
Fucker.
I love it. I mean, and that's the first time there's so much that plays off of it to like the point where they talk about how even though they gave like a good signal that everything was okay there, because of the time slippage, like that could have been minutes ago for Miller, but it's in reality it's been all these years. I love the soundtrack while they're on that planet, and one of my favorite facts in the whole movie is that during that whole time on the planet, you hear like a ticking in the music, and every one of those ticks is a day passing on Earth. So again, we talked about all those little details of the movie, like throwing something like that in there is just so cool. The visual of the wave, when they say, "Oh, just once we get to those mountains," and then McConaughey's like, "Oh, those are mountains." Just so much tension in that scene, and them finally getting off. I love it. Just fantastic. I love the detail that they put into all the different worlds, and something like this, a planet that is just water with just a tidal wave that's constantly circling the planet. It was just so cool. And yeah, I love it. And our boy Tar saving the day.
Yeah, that was awesome when he saved Anne Hathaway.
And what's that guy's name? Wes Bentley, I think was that other guy. Yeah, they were just like, forget him, whatever. I was gonna great scene. I was gonna pick that mainly because of the the water and the tidal wave scene. But so I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Tesseract scene And I don't know. I think I love it for the science behind it, or the idea of the science behind it, maybe the theory behind it. I don't love the narrative part of it. Like, I guess if you don't understand like what the hell's going on, like it seems stupid. Like you're just like, all right, so you're telling me that Matthew McConaughey went into this black hole and just ended up behind his daughter's bookcase. Like, really? I don't think so. But at least the way I understand it, and please anyone correct me, is basically by entering that black hole, he is now able to be in that fourth dimension, which is time. So you have XYZ as far as the 3D world, the physical world. But now, since time is now available, there is no real time. It's not like he went back in the past. He just has all of his life laid out in front of him, and he's conveniently, but I think obviously for the story, but also for what McConaughey wants, that's where he ends up. And then kind of tying everything together with giving the binary code. But what's funny about that is if he actually listened to what the code said of stay, then he wouldn't have been able to actually do it, because he wouldn't have went on the trip. So it's kind of a little bit of a mindfuck, but that's what I like about it. And I love the visuals and how they tried to show that kind of fourth dimension. But I do think that narratively it's like, all right, like you go in the black hole and now you're in a bookcase, like, eh. And Tars is there somehow. I don't know.
So this is how I understood it. And
Okay,
it's
please.
he essentially, the Tesseract was put together by whatever civilization lived on, and they eventually got to understand these other dimensions and were able to put that together for him, and they put him in that situation. And the first thing he sees is he's distraught, he's telling himself to stay, but then he figures it out, and then, oh shit, I understand, I can go through time. And that's when he goes, okay, give me the coordinates in binary. And then he goes back to that and drops the coordinates. And so he does go. So then he can go forward and give the, I guess the data from the black hole onto the watch.
Right.
Because he knows later in life she's going to get that. So his first raw emotion is stay.
Right.
But then he figures it out, and like then kind of puts everything in motion, and gives the data for the black hole that ends up being able to save humanity. So that's how I took it.
Right. And because of that, oh, go ahead, Gene.
Yeah, I think the first time I watched that scene in the Tesseract, I thought it was like a little hokey. And I think that's because I didn't fully understand what was going on there and what was trying to be conveyed. And then, after, multiple watchings, and you see that, like Benny said, that was, the future generations, being able to convey that back. And they created a 3D construct to convey the fifth dimension world that, with the quantum data that they eventually get. Yeah, I don't know. It's wild. It's that whole like kind of life cycle of information, and it is wild. And I totally agree with Benny, is that his first gut reaction is stay. Like he sees his daughter in the room, and that's what he should have done, and totally realizes it after he has some time to process it. Which that's a lot to figure out, that it's not they, it's, but he figures it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, here's how I interpret it in notes that I put down. So this is my own words. It says wormholes do not appear naturally. As Coop notes, it must have been placed there by someone or something. This is my words. Early in the film, we were led to believe that a benevolent, ultra-advanced civilization has placed it there. Aliens, basically extraterrestrial Samaritans. Again, my words. Later in the film, Coop interprets they as us. They didn't bring us all here. Coop tells the robot Tars, we brought ourselves. It is Coop himself who sent in the coordinates to NASA and the quantum data from the Tesseract. Again, my words. It's implied that the ultra-advanced civilizations are in fact humans from the future who have mastered quantum mechanics to the extent where they exist in 5 dimensions. That is, they could move forwards and backwards in time and space with ease. So this is that's what I kind of thought about when I was watching the movie. So
This is
just
why
my
we say
thoughts.
you're the brains of the podcast.
Please. Just my thoughts. But yeah, it's crazy. I reading that still, my brain is mush. I have no idea. So it's crazy people can even come up with that stuff.
I know. That's what blows my mind. Love it though. Like I almost love concepts that I don't understand. Like I like understand sort of. Like, all right, I understand like what you're trying to say, but in general, I don't actually understand it. I just pretend I do.
There's definitely a fine line. Have you guys seen Tenet?
Yes.
Not yet.
No.
So what I would say is, and not to spoil it for anybody, but he almost outkicked his coverage in that film. Like I still kind of was like, all right, I like the challenge. I like being kind of right outside that. And I'm like, I was left grasping at straws. Like I came back and I went to YouTube and I had people explain it, then watched it again, then enjoyed it more, but was still like, I'm on a lower level here than what's going on.
I love that this is his lane, and it's like crazy out there theories and super scientific movies like Oppenheimer and stuff like that. I love that he picked this lane for himself and committed so hard to like the details and all this kind of stuff, because even something like Inception where you have to like think about, I love that, and I think that's why I love his movies so much, is they really do make you think and learn and then go back and watch, and like you get a better understanding of it that second time around.
Agree. Any Ani mentions for favorite scenes from anybody?
Well, Robbie mentioned mine. That locking scene was so intense, from the school and just everything, just heavy. And the water scene was the other I mentioned. So you guys are right in tune with me.
Yeah. I love the battle scene with Matt Damon. I love him dealing with the loss of oxygen and Damon just kind of being like a dick, but like not, but like I would have did it, you would have did it, everyone would have did it. I just thought it was cool to see them two face off. I loved the fact, something like there's an atmosphere, but it's not 100% what you need, and his helmet cracks, but he doesn't die right away because there is something there. So the science behind that was great. And just seeing those two go toe to toe, please, my bees were blown off. I loved it. I loved seeing those two go toe to toe, and I just love that whole spiraling of man isn't who he portrayed him as. And I love how they subtly alluded to it when he's talking about his robot, and he's like, oh yeah, no, don't worry about don't worry about what's on there, but in reality it has probably all the data that the life on that planet wouldn't be habitable. So I just love that whole spiral out of control of his character,
the raw humanity.
Yeah,
he plays that character well, that swarmy, like just hateable dick. I'll investigate anyone I want, you fucking cocksucker.
Yeah, he's good like that. The drone chase was cool. I love that in the beginning of the movie. I thought that was really done well. Thought that was cool, just driving to the cornfield. And obviously, again, the score in that scene as well. So I thought that was really fun to start the movie off like that. I forgot to mention in my actors, Timothy Chalamet, how you doing? I didn't say his name in there, so it's nice to see him, a young Chalamet. So Chalamet.
Any others?
Anything with Lithgow. I mean, come on, he's the best.
The best. And of course, wow, I was just gonna call him out, and now I forget his name. Stupid.
Michael Caine.
Oh, thank you, Michael Caine, the best. I just love the way he talks.
I know I was trying to get his accent down for the pod, but I couldn't get it.
No. Me neither.
Someone said
Next
he
time.
only speaks in 3-word bursts. I forget who said it, but if you like listen to him, he always talks in 3 words to tell you everything you need. And like that like unlocks.
The fuck? Now every time I see a movie with him, I'm gonna
Yeah.
think that.
His worst scene though is when he's dying though, because you can't understand him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't
I'm
understand
sitting
him.
there going, what is he saying? This sounds like it's supposed to be important. I can't get some subtitles here.
Always go subtitles, no matter what. All right, let's move on. Does anyone have any, or I mean, we typically all pick one, but does anyone wait, who went last? Should we just snake draft it?
Yeah, I think Robbie went last.
All right, Robbie, least favorite scene. What do you got?
I didn't really have a lot of least favorite scenes, but I'll go with my least favorite scene is when Coop reunites with his daughter at the end of the movie. Not because of I didn't like it, it's because they didn't see each other for like 890 years. And he gets there and they have a heartfelt moment for like 2 minutes, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna go save Dr. Brand. I'm out of here. I didn't enjoy that. I wanted more. It was emotional, but give me more. If I haven't seen my daughter in like 80 years, I'm not gonna spend 5 minutes with her while she's dying. I'm gonna spend a little bit more time with her. So I just wanted a little more. That felt a little rushed. In a long ass movie, I'd rather take 10 more minutes of them just reuniting and maybe walking around Coop Island, reminiscing, having a couple of LOLs, maybe like a couple of drinks, a couple of cigs or something like that. Just give me some more. That's all I wanted.
Agree. And that was also my least favorite scene, more not because of that, but because doesn't even give any fucks about his son. No, he doesn't ask about him, doesn't give a shit. No mention of Tom the entire time.
Yeah.
Terrible. Who's next?
Me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a least favorite scene. I think the only thing that I didn't like was the principal scene, and it's just like that whole anti-science thing that like and I think it was just triggered of like how we are, it seems like we're getting a little in today's society, so that kind of triggered me a little bit. But yeah, no, for me, I enjoyed everything about this movie. So, to give it a 9.5, it's hard to pick out a scene that I really didn't like, but I'll go with that because I can totally see it's almost like that idiocracy where things are going bad for us as a planet and we just choose to ignore it instead of dealing with it. Like the don't look up kind of thing. So I'll go with that. It's hit a little too close to home.
Would have been nice if they showed President Camacho just real quick.
Watering the crops of Brondo.
It's got what plants crave.
They could have fixed the whole movie in 10 seconds.
That's right. Gene, you got any least favorite scenes?
Yeah, not to repeat the reunion with Murph, but definitely agree with Robbie there. Way too brief. I feel like more stuff needed to be unpacked. Even if we were told that there was a little walk around, and it was just so yank off the bandage. But I will say what I think salvaged that moment a little bit is Murph does narrate the end of the film from that kind of bed scene, when she says, go, no father should watch their child die. Go to Brand. You need, she's laying down for the long nap, under our new sun, under our new home, and it, like, the score just, elevates in volume and presence. So I was like, all right, it goes from like just a lackluster scene with like, needing a little bit more bonding time to just all right, they salvaged it. I'm sure if you talk to somebody, some more of that hit the cutting room floor when the film house was like, yeah, no, we gotta cut some more out.
Yeah.
This movie can't be 3.5 hours. Cut some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mentioned it quick before, but my wife's least favorite scene is 100% when they ask him to be a pilot and he just fucking leaves in 4 seconds. Goes and packs a bag and says later.
Yeah, how many years has it been since he's flown? Like,
that was the other thing. Like,
I know.
they're like, you're a great pilot, and then all of a sudden he's piloting a fucking $1 billion thing. Like, did he get any training? Like, did they run him through the simulator? I mean, maybe, probably. I don't know.
yep.
You said you wanted to cut some stuff out of the movie.
Yeah.
I know, but not that stuff. All right. Least favorite character? Start with that.
Yeah, we could do that.
Again, Gene, is your choice, first or last?
All right. I'll go first.
Okay.
Mine, I think, has to be Dr. Brand, the OG Brand, for the monstrous lie. You know,
Yeah.
just that I mean, that scene when they get that information, even though we can't understand, when he's kind of admitting to what's going on, you're still like, what did he admit to? I don't understand. I lied. They do they bring that full circle in that scene where it's transmitted from Murphy Cooper saying, "Hey, sorry, Dr. Brand, your father died," and she goes to shut it off and then says, "Did you know? Did you know, Dr. Brand? Did my father know? Did he leave me here to die like that?" And then Dr. Mann chimes in, "I know what he's talking about," like, so just, yeah.
Of course, Matt Damon, that little fuck.
That snaky bastard.
I think it would be too obvious to go Dr. Mann for me, so that's why I went with Dr. Brand.
Good choice. Anyone want to go next?
I don't want to steal anybody, so I'll defer.
All right, so I'm gonna steal yours, and it's gonna be that idiot teacher at the beginning that was just like, that's a federal textbook. Like, oh, okay, lady.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, get at it. Like, I mean, Benny's right. What he said before, like, it hits harder now because of, and I think where we live, it's not as big a deal, but there are places that are, doing this kind of stuff, but when they're doing book bannings and things of that nature, where you're just like, I really hope we don't get to a point where they're like completely just erasing accepted history and stuff like that. But yeah, fuck that lady. I'm glad he got Murph suspended and they went to the baseball game.
Robbie?
I defer to you.
I'm gonna go with Topher Grace as Getty, just because, like, Topher Grace, like, what the fuck? Like, out of all the people that popped up in this movie, he was like the one that I was like, what? And he just took me out of it a little bit. And just coming out of left field and getting the girl, getting Murph. She was made to be such a prize in this movie. Everybody loved her, and she ends up with Topher Grace. Like, come on, get out of here with that. So Topher Grace is Getty. Go fuck yourself.
Very random.
Yeah, what did Topher Grace ever do to you?
I don't know. I just don't like his face.
No, very random casting. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Where's he going?
Yeah. That 70 shows to Interstellar. Like, that's a jump.
Yeah.
Oh, Dazed and Confused to Interstellar.
True.
Or
but hey, McConaughey's a dime.
That's true. Can't deny that. Robbie.
My least favorite character is Dr. Brand. That's because of my unfiltered, absolute hatred for Anne Hathaway. I think she stinks. I think she's the worst. I can't stand her. I don't like her at all. Everything about her I don't like. She's the worst. I wish I would have rather took Julia Roberts as Dr. Brand.
Come on.
Oh, please.
Yeah,
Black hole would have been in her huge mouth.
Anne Hathaway doesn't have a huge mouth.
Not as big as hers.
Yeah, Anne Hathaway missed me with that. I can't stand her. Shut up with the love speech. We're talking about space, sweetheart. We're not talking about love right now. We're trying to save the planet. I don't care about you. I don't care about your love speech. Your dad ruined everybody, screwed everybody. He's got people going away for 800 years because he lied about Plan A. I'm done with her. I never want to see her in another movie again. Dr. Brand, Anne Hathaway, take a hike.
Please. That's a bad take.
That's my best take of the year. Anne Hathaway stinks.
I liked it with the short hair too.
Robbie, who do you like less, Anne Hathaway or Jeff Bridges?
Or Tara Reid.
Nice.
Well, I like Jeff Bridges more than I like Anne Hathaway. I like Tiny Lester more than I like Anne Hathaway.
I'm
Wow.
shocked. I'm
Me
shocked.
too.
Yeah,
The Jeff Bridges
the
thing
last
I
name
can
redacted.
understand. Anne Hathaway is a national treasure. I'm shocked.
No, the last name redacted household. My household and the Michelle Bryan last name redacted household. This is not Anne Hathaway household.
It's not Anne
Really?
Hathaway country.
Yeah, she stunk as Catwoman. She stunk as everything else. Yeah, not a fan. I'm sorry. So Anne Hathaway, if you listen, I'm sorry, but please come on the pod and discuss.
All right. Anne Hathaway week next week. We're gonna do 3 Anne Hathaway movies.
Please, let's do it. Wow.
You got 3 Anne Hathaway movies you can name?
Yeah.
Interstellar.
Yeah.
Princess Diaries.
Devil
Princess
Wears
Diaries
Prada.
2. Princess Bride 3.
All right, we'll do that. All right. Learn something new about my friends every day. I love it. All right. Favorite character.
Start us
Benny?
off, Rob.
Robbie, sorry.
Well, my least favorite character isn't actually a human being. It's my main man, Tars. He was my favorite character in this movie. I loved the emotion out of him. I loved the sense of humor. I don't know what it is about it, but I love the friendship between him and Coop. I don't know, just the both of them just vibing up each other and bouncing up each other, and just having that beautiful moment in the Tesseract, and even at the end of the movie when he's basically putting his sense of humor down from like 90 to like 75 and then to 60. I just loved it, man. Something about Tars in this movie that really pulled at my heartstrings, and him saving. I mean, I wish he wouldn't have, but him saving Anne Hathaway, I thought that was amazing. And like even just the way that was filmed and how they shot that, I know I just loved it so much. So obviously I could have went Chalk and went McConaughey, which is well deserved, but I just went off the grid a little bit and went with Tars, who I really enjoyed in this movie.
Did you hope that Tars saved the other guy instead of Anne Hathaway because you hate her so much?
Yeah, I was
Doyle?
hoping because I found Doyle more attractive than Anne Hathaway, so I was hoping that they would have saved him instead of Anne Hathaway. They let her float into another dimension, maybe the 6th dimension.
Wes Bentley, American Beauty, Hunger Games. He's in a bunch of cool things.
There's so many more people I would have casted besides Anne Hathaway.
Crazy.
Dua Lipa.
Unbelievable.
What about Dua Lipa?
He's definitely an unlikable character in the film. I don't understand the Anne Hathaway hate overall.
Yeah, this is unhinged.
Yeah, I'm losing it. I'm sorry. It's because I might miss Thanksgiving. I don't know. I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
Wait, who goes next?
I think it's me.
It is.
Do I go Chalk here? I mean, we have a very special guest, so I could leave Chalk to him. I'm not going Anne Hathaway because as much as I want to defend her honor, she's not the best character in the film. Give me David Gyasi as Romilly. I liked his character.
That's good.
I thought he did a good job with it. I love that he whereas the dude, what's his name? Let me find it here. Where Doyle was like science only, which obviously was probably what the mission needed. Romilly did have that human side to him. I loved it. I love that scene when they get back from the water planet and just the way he delivers the lines of like, I've been waiting for so many years. And, I took plenty of long naps and stuff like that. I just liked him as a character. I was bummed when he died. So yeah, I'm gonna give him props and say that he was my favorite character.
Dude, how do you not, like, honestly, how do you not kill yourself? 23 years by
I know.
yourself?
Yeah.
Well, with a robot, I guess. No way. Whew.
Yeah,
They
I'm
call it
surprised he
living a dream.
didn't.
Right.
I'm surprised he didn't go crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Couple
I
what?
might take
naps.
a long nap though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm surprised when I first watched it all those years ago, I thought when they came back he was gonna like have lost his mind and like try and
Yeah.
kill him or something, but I guess that's
Yeah.
more like a alien or a scary space movie.
I don't want to derail off the topic real quick, but
Please.
explain it to me as a fifth grader. How come Coop didn't age?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he
Oh,
so
okay.
because of gravity,
Right.
and the gravity was so strong because they were so close to the black hole, time moves slower for you.
Right.
So everybody else ages at the normal rate, but for him, time was so slow that he didn't age, or he aged like the normal amount of time that he experienced. So if he was on the planet for an hour, he aged an hour, but everybody else aged at their normal rate.
Yeah.
So that's why they had the dude stay outside of the gravitational pull of the black hole so that they would experience time normally, and just the people that went down to the planet did.
Thank you. That makes a lot more sense. And some might even say time keeps on slipping.
I
So
went down a
thank you.
little
I didn't know that.
quick, like real quick. I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, like thinking about this movie, and I found out something I thought was interesting, that they have to recalibrate the satellites that orbit our Earth because their time is actually off because of gravity. They're not experiencing the same time as us on the surface of the Earth. I think that's wild because, I mean, they're far away, but in context of like this, they're not that far away, but
Yeah.
they still have to get calibrated. That's wild.
Yeah. I think they even say the astronauts in space, just being in space.
Yeah.
Away from us. Yeah.
So
Definitely
crazy.
wild.
Science, baby. Gene, why don't you go next and then I'll go last so I don't steal.
Okay. Hate going this route because it's a little obvious, but my man Cooper, he's surrounded by intellects, Anne Hathaway, so he's the relatable character. I just feel like he was on like a tour de force with this role, and even where he was, I think True Detective was around that time, Dallas Buyers Club. He just turned me 180 degrees on viewing him as an actor, and just he just crushed it in this role. So it was tough not to go that route.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna Coops off the board. I was gonna pick Anne Hathaway just to stick it in Robbie's craw, but I'm not because while I don't hate her, she wasn't the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna go with John Lithgow. He had a really small role, but I just love him so much. Like
He's
I
the
don't know
best.
what it is about him. I just love him.
I,
That's it.
Yeah,
I
he's
know
very good.
we barely touched on Dexter a little bit last week, but he's in season 4 of Dexter and he's fucking incredible. He's so good.
John Lithgow. John Lithgow, I know you're listening. Please come on the show and tell us about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
please.
It seemed like such an atypical role for him, at least from what I've seen in him. So I think that was so impressive too.
Yeah, like the grumpy old man.
Yeah, he nailed it.
Love it. All right. So I don't know if we're gonna have much to say about this topic because a lot of us have some high scores, but is there any way that we could make this movie better in your mind? Again, Gene, first or last?
I would go back to kind of what I mentioned before. I think, and this isn't necessarily making the film better. I know everybody kind of mentioned the time, the length of the film, which I think is something Nolan always struggles with. But I do think he doesn't have filler. Like it may be a long film, but you're like, nope, tough to cut that out. I just go back to, I think this film gets better like wine. Like you watch it again, and maybe that's just me, but I just feel like multiple watchings allow you to kind of absorb things a little differently, and appreciate it. It's I think we all have our favorite films that you can come on whenever. This is one of those for me, but I wouldn't change it. I would just say it kind of gets better like fine wine.
Fair.
Wash and repeat.
Okay. Robbie, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. Probably just shorten it. I mean, obviously, you guys kind of mentioned it a bunch of times, so I don't I would shorten it, but like you said, there wasn't any filler. I wasn't bored. I just think 2 hours and 45 minutes is a long time for a movie, but I did feel like the bookshelf, the Tesseract, that was a little not forced, but like a fairy tale type of ending, I think, a little bit. While it was dramatic and emotional, I enjoyed it. You just felt like it was whatever. I would have liked, and like I'm said, I'm contradicting myself, but I would have liked to see maybe a short burst of how we got to, where we got to on Earth. That would have been nice, but that is what it is. I would have liked it to be like The Big Short, where they stopped the movie and they had actors explain certain aspects of like what a black hole is, or what a wormhole is for me. But that's just me. I'm not as smart as you guys, so you guys got it better than me, but that's about it.
Did you know they used real footage from the Dust Bowl though? Those people in the beginning with the guy with the patch on and whatnot, and they were talking about the old Dust Bowl. Those are like
Oh
real.
wow, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I
from
didn't
the
know that.
Ken Burns documentary.
Yeah.
Shout out Ken Burns.
Shout out.
For me, I honestly, there's not much. I honestly would have liked if they did a little bit more sciencey stuff and like some kind of crazy theories and explain stuff a little bit more and kind of got a little out there with some of the stuff. But it's a movie for the masses, and it's they did exactly what they should have for it. So I'm not dinging in any points for that. It's just it would have scratched my itch.
Yeah, great. I think there's a fine line that every filmmaker has to toe that's doing science fiction, where it's like, you want to get crazy because it's art, it's cinema. You can do whatever you want. But then all the science nerds are like, you can't do that. That's not theoretically accurate. Whatever.
Yeah.
I kind of same as you guys. I don't have anything specific to make this better. Like maybe somewhat shorter, but again, there's not much fluff in this. If anything, I would have liked more explanation, just like you guys said. So I guess that's my answer, but it's not a great one.
I think like the two biggest things you can do with sci-fi, and if you land in the middle of it, you're kind of fucked, is you either stick to real science or nothing matters. And then
Right.
like anything in the middle, excuse me, anything in the middle, like if you start playing fast and loose with some stuff, then it becomes kind of like, well, it doesn't really make sense. So that's what I appreciate about this movie, is that they went full scientific and they stuck with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think having Professor Thorne on, as the executive producer, he wasn't just an advisor, definitely helped. But I'm sure, think about the like mapping out of this movie. It was probably wild that like we could go like insane to this way, like you said, where it's just complete fiction, or we could get really crazy with the science, and they kind of just met in the middle somewhere. All right. Well, I do have a way to make it better. Our last topic, as usual, is casting a young Matt Damon working overtime. He certainly worked overtime in this movie on that planet. And it's interesting because he's already in this movie. So, Gene, first or last?
I'll go first.
All right.
I'm picking a different cast member for Matt Damon.
So, yeah, or you can make up a character if you want. That's an option as well.
Okay. I'm gonna go with swapping him out with Doyle.
Nice.
This way we can still kill him off.
Nice.
We switch up his role a little bit.
I like that.
Love it.
Give me a young, handsome, thinner Matt Damon from the past who comes back during the fight scene between Cooper and Mann and saves Coop and throws the older man down into that huge hole, and he becomes the hero of the film. So give me a younger Matt Damon coming back in time to save
As himself.
Coop. Yeah, and saving the day.
I like
Love it. Robbie?
Well, give me an older version of Matt Damon, the old version that was Private Ryan in Saving Private Ryan, the old man at the end. Give me Matt Damon as old Private Ryan, who has to help Coop go back in time to beat the Nazis in a fifth dimension, far, far away. So it's Coop and Private Ryan against Joseph Goebbels again, makes a comeback, and he comes back in this movie as well. So give me Matt Damon as old Private Ryan in a time-space continuum, helping Coop battle the Nazis and save a World War VII.
The space Nazis.
Love it.
Space Nazis, that's right.
That's right.
Coming soon to a theater near you.
I had another choice, but you know what? I love my friend Robbie. So what I'm going to do here is cast a young, handsome, strapping Matt Damon in Anne Hathaway's role. So Anne Hathaway is no
Please.
longer in the movie, and Robbie could enjoy it more. How about that?
Or you just swap them and she becomes man.
Oh, and then Robbie could really hate her even more because she turns on him.
Nice.
And she gets blown to bits.
Yep.
Good choice.
Please.
Too.
That would be from every movie we saw so far in this podcast, her getting blown to bits would be my favorite scene of all time.
I still can't believe that. All right. Anything else that anyone wants to say about this film or in general?
In general, with Nolan, like I'm kind of excited to watch Tenet now after hearing what Gene said about it. Just that it seems like it kind of really got out there. So I kind of want to see what that one's about.
Yeah. We'll do Nolan Week Part 1. It may be in a couple of weeks or a couple months.
I really thought we did a Nolan week already.
It's fine. You got COVID, brain. I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Robbie, anything from you?
No, I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it even better when it ended because I didn't have to see Anne Hathaway anymore. So other than that, again, I love Nolan. Can't wait to watch Tenet. Can't wait to watch Dunkirk, and can't wait to watch The Prestige. I'm excited to watch those three, and Oppenheimer, obviously, but I'm really looking forward to watching The Prestige.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good one. All right, Gene, anything else from you?
Just a random comment. I remember hearing a show way back when you guys were talking about your favorite shows to watch. I was surprised at how much Game of Thrones went down, down the rank
Tubes.
just from that last season. I do agree that the last season, left us a little unfulfilled at the end, especially the last episode. But I just think that show was so good that
Incredible.
even having that last season, being a little suspect, I think it's still, I don't know, to me it still stays at number one. So I was surprised. So I remember when you guys were ranking that stuff, I was like, damn, I'm surprised at how much it slipped for most of you guys.
I'm wearing a Greyjoy sweatshirt right now.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what reminded me of it.
Yeah.
I just felt like there's so much in that for me because I love it so much, like so much. Like I love the books. I love and between like this fifth book or sixth book never coming out, like we've been waiting for it for years, and putting so much hope into the show to actually get the answers that I wanted, and then for that all to get like pulled out from under me, and it just like boom, 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 this is how it ends, and it just happened. I feel like it's a loaded thing for me because I wanted so many answers that now I still have to wait for and I might never get. So I feel like it felt like a personal attack, even though it's not. But yeah, I would love to like go back and spin up the first 4 or 5 seasons and watch them again just because they were so fantastic. And I think as time goes on, I'll let go of that hatred a little bit for how it all went down, and I'll go back and watch, or I'll start putting it higher in my rankings. But yeah, no, there's no doubt that it was one of the best shows ever.
Incredible. I totally agree, Benny. It still hurts. I'm still emotionally damaged from that show, and I can't believe that a show would do that to me, but it did.
No, it's just like there were so many things that I wanted questions or answers to, and so many theories that we had, and the fact that we're not getting these books probably ever, just it just hurts to like to get that invested in something
Yeah.
and then never know the answers.
What about House of Dragons? Did you guys all?
It was good.
We've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it. Definitely. What about you? What did you think of House of Dragon?
Yeah, it was good. It didn't quite hit the level that Game of Thrones did for me, but definitely had me hooked. I rewatched the season again, and was definitely definitely looking forward to the next season. Really
Agree.
good character development. Yeah, yeah. I think they did a good job with that so far. I don't know what's going on with the spin-offs or the Snow Saga or whatever, if that's
Yeah.
even a real thing or not, but yeah.
Dunkin' Egg, maybe. And then there's like 6 other proposed shows in this universe that are possibly happening. But like Benny said, give us the fucking books and then we're worry about more shows.
Yeah.
But whatever. Well, I don't want to end this on a complete sour note. So thank you so much, Gene, for joining us. I'm super happy that you messaged us and was just like, hey, if this wins, like I should come on because it was a great addition. Loved your insight. Thank you.
I only came on the show so I can say plummies and Ani Mensch. And I felt fulfilled.
We should just get a recording of you saying it, and then each time we reference it, we'll play it. We'll hit
drop
the
it.
button.
Perfect. Awesome, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming
thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Gene.
you for
Appreciate it.
supporting. Sorry,
Yeah,
Rob.
and what was I gonna say? Check out Gene's website, Salt and Sea. Fantastic. I have a few prints that whenever I buy a house again, I'm gonna put them up. I had them in my old house and I love them. So very talented, Gene. Great stuff he has.
Yeah, we'll have the link for that in the show notes, so you could check that out there.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else want to say anything before we wrap up?
This is a good one.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah. Enjoy. Send us
And
your.
I will have my revenge on Benny and I sometime soon.
So
before they least expect it.
I know that it seems like it was an attack on you, but would you rather be you or would you rather be me that now has to deal with these accusations, that has to deal with the vitriol that's coming from you, getting attacked on 2 different podcasts now, the fact that I almost ruined a pair of $250 shoes, gave you COVID. I'd rather be you than me right now. Because
don't forget the $100 pants and the $90 crew neck as well that you spilled wine on. So
are they messed up?
Let me see. From this distance, they look a little suspicious.
Put them in a cart, baby, and I'll buy them for you.
It is what it is. All that matters is that we had the greatest burger we ever had in our entire lives.
That's right. That's right.
And I kicked the shit out of you in mini golf.
That's what hurt the most out of everything.
Ah.
The hole in one on the first hole.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving. We love you. Send us your recommendations. Send us an email, ltbwpodcast@gmail.com. Robbie, tell them good night.
Good night, Dr. Brand. Do not go gentle into that good night.
And fuck you, Topher Grace.
Fuck, what did he do? Both of you have hatred for no reason.
It's a
What
blood
is
feud.
love? Shut up, Anne Hathaway.